Tending is the difference between dreading opening your bank account and just opening your bank account. You've probably had a budget, maybe a dozen of them. You know what you're supposed to do with your money. You might even make really good money, but every time you look at your money, it doesn't land right. It doesn't feel safe. It's not a discipline problem. And it's not even really a math problem. The problem is that money is about emotion, not budgets or discipline or control. When you have a dysregulated nervous system around money, when money doesn't feel safe, when you have stories like, I'm no good with money, or I'll never figure this out, you're never going to be able to regulate your nervous system around money. You can't budget or spreadsheet or optimize around this problem. A gardener doesn't manage her garden, she tends it. She shows up day after day. She shows up consistently. She reads the conditions and she works with what's present. Nobody tells a gardener she failed because her tomatoes didn't grow in January. Your budget didn't fail because you lack discipline. It failed because it was built like a management tool and not a tending practice. A tending practice is different than the way that we normally interact with money. Normally, we check it when we're panicked or we force ourselves to do this thing called balancing our checkbook or updating our budgeting app. These things are tense and they're filled with fear. But tending is an act of care. Tending is showing up and just witnessing what's there while allowing the feelings to happen and not creating any negative feelings of blame or guilt, anger. Tending is about small, sustainable actions towards building better money habits. Tending is the difference between dreading opening your bank account and just opening your bank account. One is sustainable and one isn't. Most financial problems aren't really a money problem. They're an enough problem. We keep raising our financial bar. We let society or our family or social media tell us what enough is. And so it's never enough. We never stop to think about what is really enough for us. When we take the time to really define what is enough and to define that for ourselves and sit with it and embody it and get to know what enough feels like in our bodies, we can stop this chase. When we haven't defined what enough is, we tend to spend erratically. We spend too much, or we never feel like we have enough money. Maybe we have money sitting in the bank, but it still doesn't feel secure because we don't know what enough is. This not enoughness can show up as always shifting your savings goals or spending recklessly and then feeling empty afterwards, or growing your net worth but still not feeling safe. You don't need to spend less. You need to spend on purpose. For me, that shows up as cooking from scratch for my family. But there's a value in doing that. And I would rather spend my time tending my family than I would working to earn the money to buy those things. When enough is defined, every spending decision gets easier. Not because you have more rules or stricter rules or better rules, but because you have defined what your goalpost is. You've defined what enough is. And that makes that choice easy because you're choosing the thing that you want more. Most people use money to build a life that looks right. This work is about building a life that feels right. Hi, I'm Michelle. I help people tending their money and themselves. Come back again. We'll talk some more.